Hi, Jackie Van Ruler here. Today I'm going to show you how you can work on somebody else when you're doing the mind, body, beauty meditation. So the very first thing that you want to do is take your hand and place it on your client somewhere. So I can put it, like you can't see, but I'm kind of putting it underneath of her neck and holding her neck there. Or you can place it on her shoulder or on the side of her face like this. Sometimes I'll cradle the ear or put my hands underneath the ear and cradle her head like this. But this hand gives your receiver, it calms their nervous system and lets them know exactly where you are at all times. It gives them permission to relax. So I have my hand over here on the side of her head. You can't see that, but I'm just going to keep my hand there for the moment. And I'm going to use my detector. If you don't have a detector, you can use a crochet hook that looks like this. You want to make sure that it has a nice rounded instead of a pointy tip. You just want to make sure that that's not too pointy for your client or for your receiver. So as I'm working on her at the very beginning, I may just experiment with the pressure that feels good to her. Alex, how does this pressure feel?
It feels good.
And so you can do a little more pressure and see, does that feel better or does that feel worse?
Yeah, I think a little more pressure is better.
A little more pressure is better. Okay. So then once I have that established, then I can let her go into that meditative state while I start working on her. So the very first thing I'm going to work on is I'm going to work across her hairline here and then down her nose. And so this just opens up the back and the spinal cord and allows the rest of the signals then to transmit more easily. So I'm going to start right here in the center of her forehead at the hairline. Just start doing some slow circles. The slower the better. And as I'm doing the circles, I'm really feeling where she has little stuck spaces or where I'm feeling some resistance. And so I'm feeling a good spot right here. And so I'm just going to hang out in this area and do about 7 to 10 circles there. And so whenever you hit these little spots, as you're working those, that sends a really relaxing signal through their nervous system. It's kind of like getting a massage when you're trying to work out a lump in your shoulders or in your back. Really helps to release that. So I'm going further across her hairline and into kind of the edge of her scalp that gets closer to the shoulder area. And then if I'm getting her hair tangled up, I can just pull the detector out and start again. I'm going to head back the other way. I'm going a little quicker since I've already worked that area. Now I want to work the other side, so I can switch my hand over to this side and start working on the other part of her scalp here. I found a good little knot or a good little bump here, so I'm going to work that a little bit extra. Again, another like 7 to 10 little circles, and then move on. You can overstimulate points, so you really just want to stick with one point for maybe like 15 to 20 seconds at the most, and then you can come back to that later on. All right, found another little lump in this closer to the edge of her hairline, so I'm going to hang out here a little bit. And there's another one right next to it, so again, I'm just going to work on that point. Another 15 to 20 seconds. And then I can start coming back to that center of her hairline and then work down. If it feels better to you, you can take your pinky finger and do a little, just a little stand on her face, and that just allows a little support there for your tool as you're working it. So as I'm coming down here, I'm feeling a good point right here, so I'm going to hang out again for a few seconds, help to really release that stress that she's carrying in that part of her spine or her body. Found another good spot here, so I'm going to hang out there for a little bit. As I'm working, I'm watching the receiver to make sure they should be getting into that deeply relaxing state where you start to notice that their breathing slows down and becomes deeper. You might start to hear gurgling in the stomach or the intestines. That's a good sign that the intestines are getting more blood flow, that the body's really releasing some digestive enzymes and really helping digestion to improve. Really great for people who have things like leaky gut or irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, any of the things related to the gut. This really helps to make their gut function better. And of course, the gut is associated with hormones like serotonin and dopamine and things that make you feel happier. So automatically, this treatment makes somebody feel happier. So there I did the T-zone. I did across the hairline and then all the way down the center of the forehead and down the nose. And so then after that is when I'd really start with working the other sections that I want to work. But that's what I'm going to show you today for how to work on and how to give a treatment to a receiver.